watching Newsroom 365, and let's begin as far as the latest post by Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, who has now broken his silence when it comes to the ongoing controversy over Ambedkar storm, and he's now put up a post where he's taking on the Congress party squarely. He's put up questioning the Congress party and its a rotten ecosystem that he says think that their malicious lies can hide their misdeeds of several years, especially their insult towards Dr. Ambedkar. They are gravely mistaken. The people of India have seen time and again how one party led by one dynasty has indulged in every possible dirty trick to obliterate the legacy of Dr. Ambedkar and humiliate the SC/ST communities. So this is how it seems that the Prime Minister is taking on. Of course, there is more to what he has said on the ongoing controversy where the Congress party has been raising questions on the BJP. Yes, Pratibha, what does the Prime Minister say?
So the Prime Minister has broken the silence on what the opposition has been saying, and it's a series of tweets, a tweet thread that the Prime Minister has put out. Amita, let's go across to what he says. He says, if the Congress and its rotten ecosystem think their malicious lies can hide their misdeeds of several years, especially their insult towards Dr. Ambedkar, they are gravely mistaken. The people of India have seen time and again how one party, led by one dynasty, has indulged in every possible dirty trick to obliterate the legacy of Dr. Ambedkar and humiliate the SC/ST communities. He then goes on to say the list of the Congress's sins towards Dr. Ambedkar includes getting him defeated in elections not once but twice, Pandit Nehru campaigning against him and making his loss a prestige issue, denying him a Bharat Ratna, denying his portrait a place of pride within the Parliament Central Hall, and it goes on. He goes on to say Congress can try as they want, but they can't deny that the worst massacres against SC/ST communities have happened under their regimes. For years they sat in power but did nothing substantive to empower the SC and ST communities. In fact, he has also gone on to put out a clip of Home Minister Amit Shah. He says in Parliament, Home Minister Amit Shah ji exposed the Congress's dark history of insulting Dr. Ambedkar and ignoring the SC/ST communities. They are clearly stung and stunned by the facts he presented, which is why they are now indulging in theatrics. Sadly for them, people know the truth. And then he again goes on, so it's a long thread. He then goes on to say it is due to Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar that we are what we are. Our government has worked tirelessly to fulfill the vision of Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar over the last decade. Take any sector, be it removing 25 crore people from poverty, strengthening the SC/ST Act, our government's flagship programs like Swachh Bharat, PM Awas Yojana, Jal Jeevan Mission, Ujjwal Yojana and more. Each of them has touched the lives of the poor and marginalized. And then he goes on to say, and this is the last tweet in the thread, he says, our government has worked to develop Panch Tirth, the 5 iconic places associated with Dr. Ambedkar. For decades, there was a pending issue on land for Chaitya Bhumi. Not only did our government resolve the issue, I have gone to pray there as well. We have also developed 26 Alipur Road in Delhi, where Dr. Ambedkar spent his last years. The house where he lived in London has also been acquired by the government. Right. When it comes to Dr. Ambedkar...
lengthy post that we are looking at the Prime Minister squarely taking on the Congress and the ecosystem. Mohit, I believe you have Rajiv Chandrasekhar with you. Over to you.
Yes. Well, yes, Amita, it's a very strong rebuttal coming in from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Remember when during the Lok Sabha election, the Home Minister Amit Shah's speech was taken out of the contest. There were selective clips that were being shared, and FIR was being registered, and that was on the issue of the reservation. Now the BJP registered the FIR, and many people were arrested regarding that. So the BJP does not want rerun of that, and perhaps that is why the tweet has come in from none other than Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who have clearly stated that how Dr. Ambedkar was insulted in the past by the Congress party, and what exactly Home Minister Amit Shah was speaking about. So this is a massive development that has come up. We are right now being joined by former Union Minister and senior BJP leader Dr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar. Sir, we see that how the edited clips of HM's speech were being shared by the Congress party leaders, and they protested, and they basically are saying that Dr. Ambedkar was insulted by Home Minister Amit Shah yesterday while he was speaking in Parliament. Now, today we see that BJP leaders came out and they stated that the Congress is using the edited clips. But now we see Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself in a long thread of tweets have spoken about this, that how exactly the Congress party has insulted Dr. Ambedkar in the past, what exactly has happened with the legacy of Dr. Ambedkar. How do you respond to the latest development that has come and Prime Minister himself has?
Look, it is absolutely clear to everybody that the Congress party has been exposed in the last 3 days of the debates in Parliament about their double standards and hypocrisy towards the Constitution. This, every Indian today has seen it. This is a shameless strategy by the Congress party, a shameless party headed by a shameless leader who has done this exact same thing during the Lok Sabha election to mislead the people of India with edited videos and a program and politics of lies. This is exactly a replay of what they did during the Lok Sabha election. They are trying this again. And it is extremely obvious, and I'm very, very happy that the Prime Minister has taken this head on, because it is obvious that the Congress party, when they are faced with being exposed in Parliament, want the people of India's attention to be distracted in some manner, and they have used this manufactured video to create this political drama. Every Indian knows today and has always known that the Congress party is a party that has repeatedly insulted Dr. Ambedkar, repeatedly undermined him, undermined the constitutional values that Dr. Ambedkar stood for when he built and authored the Constitution of India. This is a Congress party that today talks about Dr. Ambedkar, denied him the Bharat Ratna, opposed him in politics in election, and today are talking about Dr. Ambedkar when they are the architects of the emergency and many, many, many other instances of violating the fundamental rights of Indians. This is a shameless Congress party.
During the Lok Sabha elections too, we have seen that how there was a narrative that was being created by the opposition party that reservation will end, and perhaps BJP somehow knows that that has affected their chances in the elections. Now, this time around, we see that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which we have not seen in the past, himself have come out. Now, Prime Minister has also shared a full clip of the speech of the Home Minister Amit Shah, and he talks about that how the HM has exposed the dark history of insulting Dr. Ambedkar and ignoring the SC/ST communities. So clearly we see the message has come from the top leadership of the BJP that what the Congress is saying is something which is about the edited clip, and how exactly the BJP has been saying this, that how Dr. Ambedkar was insulted by Congress in the past.
Absolutely. So this is very clear that the Congress today has no ideas for the people of India. They have no ideas for the future of India, and they rely almost completely on a politics of lies. And the only way to defeat lies, the only way to defeat Rahul's politics of lies is to led by our Honorable Prime Minister, is to place the facts and the place the truth before the people of India so that they understand the hypocrisy. They understand the hypocrisy and the politics of lies that Rahul Gandhi and today's Congress represents.
And the message has come from the top, none other than the Prime Minister, because this particular issue has rocked the Parliament. The opposition, specifically the Congress party, was protesting inside the Parliament, and we have seen the reactions coming in from the opposition parties. Now, this is an issue which is very sensitive too, when we talk about Dr. Ambedkar, his contribution, the SC/ST reservation. So do you think that this is the counter coming in from the BJP and just from the top leadership, that what exactly HM meant to say and how it has been molded by the opposition? And the message from the PM is clear that we respect the Constitution, we respect what Dr. Ambedkar has done for the country, but it was the Congress party who bulldozed upon the ideology of Dr. Ambedkar.
Absolutely. Look, what came out in the last 3 days of debates in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, and finally by this stinging exposure of the Congress by our Home Minister, that the same people today who wave constitutions, they wave this book as if it is a gimmick, wave this sacred constitution as if it is a gimmick, is the party that has consistently since independence done everything to undermine the constitution. From freedom of speech, Article 19 being amended by the first Prime Minister Pandit Nehru, to opposing and undermining Dr. Ambedkar in his elections, denying him in the Bharat Ratna, imposing this dark age of the emergency, which is completely against the constitution of our country, doing everything that was against the constitution, but pretending today that people of India do not have a memory and therefore waiving this constitution and saying they are the protectors of the constitution. Amit Shah ji said yesterday very clearly and very beautifully and very lucidly in parliament, if there is a party and if there is a leader today that respects the constitution and lives using the constitution as its political ideology, it is the BJP and the NDA under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. And no amount of lying, no amount of political drama by Rahul Gandhi, no amount of waving a document that he has never read will change the fact that the Congress is the destroyer of the Indian constitution and is a party that undermined Dr. Ambedkar, and it is BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji that upholds the constitution and protects the legacy of Dr. Ambedkar.
So there you see a very strong reaction coming in from senior BJP leader Rajiv Chandrasekhar. Now, Amita, the BJP has been saying this for a long time, that the Congress party and the opposition are peddling lights when it comes to Dr. Ambedkar and legacy of Dr. Ambedkar, while the Prime Minister have always
Well, let's get in a word, a Congress reaction from Mr. Rashid Alvi as well, because Mr. Rashid Alvi, here is how the Prime Minister has reacted. We have seen the kind of protest and the ruckus that was made on part of the opposition. The Prime Minister has said that the Union Home Minister exposed the Congress's dark history of insulting Dr. Ambedkar and ignoring the SC/ST communities. The Congress is clearly stung and stunned by the facts that he has presented.
It is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. It was Congress government, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister. Only then he was appointed as chairman of the draft committee of constitution. It was Congress government. As far as reservation for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes is concerned, it was given by the Congress government. So how can you say that Congress party is insulting Congress party? You know, Pandit Nehru had inducted 5 union ministers who were not the member of Congress party, and Dr. Ambedkar was one of them. It was not under pressure. Congress party has always respect not only Dr. Ambedkar, but every senior leader, every freedom of fighter. It is Bharatiya Janata Party. How can they prove it? They have respect for Dr. Ambedkar. What have this BJP government has done for Dr. Ambedkar?
I'll quickly quote again from the Prime Minister's post, Mr. Alvi, because he's put out a list of what he says are the Congress's sins towards Dr. Ambedkar. He says getting him defeated in elections not once but twice, Pandit Nehru campaigning against him, making his loss a prestige issue, denying him a Bharat Ratna, denying his portrait a place of pride in the Parliament Central Hall.
Whether it is BJP government who has given Bharat Ratna to Dr. Ambedkar, Prime Minister Modi should inform to the nation who gave Bharat Ratna to Dr. Ambedkar. As far as one election, one nation is concerned, it is absolutely against the basics of Constitution of India. And even in Parliament, they can't pass it. 2/3 majority is required. They don't have even simple majority as far as this bill is concerned.
All right. All right. So you're raising questions there. Thank you very much, Mr. Alvi, for joining in. Mr. Thakur is also with us right now. What do you make as far as the Prime Minister has sent out a comprehensive post, especially talking about what he says the Congress and the rotten ecosystem, which he mentions, how far as when it comes to the legacy of Dr. BR Ambedkar was denied and in a way insulted by the Congress and others? Mr. Thakur? Mr. Thakur, can you hear me? All right, we'll just reconnect that line as far as reactions that have been coming in, but this one is directly coming in from the Prime Minister himself. He has put out exactly what could be the reasons there where he has cited, saying that these are malicious lies that he says can hide their misdeeds for several years, Rishabh, where he says that especially their insult towards Dr. Ambedkar, they are gravely mistaken. He says that the people of India have seen time and again how one party led by one dynasty has indulged in every possible dirty trick to obliterate the legacy of Dr. BR Ambedkar. Rishabh.
Well, Amta, definitely. This is one of the sharpest attack coming in from BJP, and it's coming in from none other than the Prime Minister himself, and the way Prime Minister has now cornered Congress over the issue of BR Ambedkar, and in a series of tweets that Prime Minister has.
Let me get in a word from Mr. Thakur again. Can you hear me, Mr. Shantanu Thakur?
Yes.
What do you make on the Prime Minister's one of the strongest ever message that is now coming across as he's taking on the Congress party over the Ambedkar storm? On social media, he has put up a lengthy post.
Yeah. Actually, what the Congress wanted to exaggerate the word of last day's our Honorable HM, it is actually what they wanted to mean. He wanted to teach by that word. I think there is no any negative thrown word by the HM.
Right, because he's taken on the Congress and the opposition party squarely. We've seen those pictures that have come in today, Mr. Thakur, as far as how the protest that has been taking place. Of course, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 2 p.m.
Actually, what happened, our Honorable HM wanted to say that those who never highlighted Ambedkarji ever, but that were taken in the wrong position, and after that they wanted to make it a very high negative sense, and they tried to adjourn and they tried to stop the house. This is not, I think, democracy. That is a wrong word they are meaning, and absolutely they are doing wrong, I think.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Thakur, for your point of view. As far as when it comes to what happened yesterday in Rajya Sabha, it has been taken on by the Congress party and other political parties as well. Let's talk about exactly what has been happening. When it comes to the Union Home Minister, he's meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is a development that is now coming across. As far as this meeting is over, the face-off over BR Ambedkar and the charges that has been leveled on part of the opposition. However, it seems that this meeting that has taken place in the Parliament, the Prime Minister's most scathing ever attack and the counter that is now coming from him to the opposition side, where the Union Home Minister also met top ministers to devise the party strategy to counter the opposition's charges on the Ambedkar issue. So in a way, it has flared up in a manner. Let's get in a word from Ms. Priyanka Chaturvedi, also joining us here on the broadcast. Ms. Chaturvedi, there has been a lengthy post that has been put up by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He is questioning when it comes to the ecosystem on what they have done is nothing but to insult the legacy of Dr. BR Ambedkar.
For over 2 days, we heard all the BJP MPs make these accusations, whether it was in the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. But yesterday, Mr. Amit Shah's words that he used to talk about Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar has actually exposed what they think of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar and the Constitution. This is absolute disregard, insult to all his work and trying to undermine what he has done for lakhs and crores of people by giving them a life of dignity and respect. The contempt with which he spoke also exposes not just Mr. Amit Shah's thought process with regards to someone who's dedicated his entire life to economically, socially empower those people who were left on the margins of the country. And this is what he's done. So no word of, no tweets will justify what has been spoken on the floor of the House by Amit Shah.
All right. Ms. Chaturvedi, thank you very much for joining in.